If you have an S-trap hiding under your kitchen or bathroom sink, there is a good chance sewer gas is already sneaking into your home and you do not even know it. The good news is you do not need to tear open walls or call an expensive plumber to fix it. After 3 decades of working on drains just like yours, I am going to walk you through 6 easy ways to correct an S-trap yourself. And stick around, because number 5 is a solution most homeowners have never heard of. And the bonus tip at the end could save you from a seriously nasty surprise. The first and most straightforward fix is to replace the S-trap with a proper P-trap. Now, if you're wondering what the difference even is, here is the simple version. An S-trap makes a full S shape going down from the sink, through the trap bin, and then straight down again into the floor, or low on the wall. A P-trap, on the other hand, exits out the back toward the wall horizontally after the trap bin. That horizontal section is the key. It prevents the water seal in the trap from getting siphoned out every time you drain the sink. When that water seal disappears, you have an open highway for sewer gas to come right up through the drain and into your living space. Replacing an S-trap with a P-trap is usually as simple as picking up a 1.5-inch or 1.25-inch P-trap kit from the hardware store for somewhere between $5 and $15. You disconnect the old S-trap, which usually just has slip joint nuts you can loosen by hand or with basic channel lock pliers, and then you connect the new P-trap so that the horizontal arm goes into a wall-mounted drain stubout. Now, here is the catch. This only works easily if you already have a drain opening in the wall at the right height. If your drain comes up through the floor, which is the whole reason most S-traps exist in the first place, you will want to look at the other options on this list. But if you do have wall access, this is the cleanest, most code-compliant fix you can do in about 20 minutes. The second way to fix an S-trap is to add an air admittance valve, also called an AAV. This is one of my favorite solutions because it attacks the real problem directly. See, the reason an S-trap siphons dry is because there is no vent letting air into the system behind the water as it drains. Without that air, the rushing water creates a vacuum that pulls the water right out of the trap bin. An air admittance valve solves this by letting air in when negative pressure builds up, but it stays closed the rest of the time so no sewer gas escapes. You install it on the drain line after the trap, usually with a simple T-fitting. The valve needs to be mounted vertically and positioned higher than the trap weir, which is the highest point of water in the trap bend. Most AAVs cost between $8 and $20, and you can find them at any hardware store. One important thing to check is whether your local plumbing code allows AAVs. The International Plumbing Code has accepted them for years, and most states now permit them, but a handful of older local codes still do not. A quick call to your local building department will clear that up in 2 minutes. When they are allowed, this is one of the smartest fixes you can make because it gives you proper venting without cutting into a single wall stud. The third way to solve your S-trap problem is to install a cheater vent inline, and this is the cheapest method on our list. A cheater vent works on the same principle as the AAV we just talked about. It lets air into the drain line to break the siphon effect. The difference is that cheater vents are smaller, simpler mechanical devices that typically cost between $3 and $8. Some of them are small enough to fit right inside the drain pipe itself, and others attach with a simple T fitting, just like an AAV. Installation is about as easy as plumbing gets. You cut into the drain line after the trap, add a T or an inline adapter, pop the vent on, and you are done. The whole job can take less than 15 minutes. Now, I want to be upfront with you. Cheater vents are not accepted by code in every jurisdiction, and some plumbers consider them more of a temporary fix than a permanent solution. The spring mechanisms inside can wear out over several years, but for a quick, budget-friendly way to stop your S-trap from siphoning dry, especially if you are in a pinch, this is hard to beat at under $10. Just keep an eye on it and replace the vent if you ever notice that rotten egg smell coming back. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it is just a small sample of what I have put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It is packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us continue. The fourth fix on our list is to extend the tailpiece to create a longer drain run. This one is a bit more of a workaround than a complete fix, but it can make a real difference in how well your existing S-trap holds its water seal. Here is how it works. The shorter the distance between the bottom of your sink drain and the top of the trap bin, the faster water rushes through and the stronger the siphon effect becomes. By extending the tailpiece, which is the vertical pipe that comes straight down from the sink drain, you add more distance and slow down that rush of water. This gives the trap a much better chance of holding onto its water seal after each use. You can pick up tailpiece extensions in 1.5 inch or 1.25 inch sizes for just a few dollars. The key measurement to keep in mind is that most codes want the vertical distance from the fixture outlet to the trap weir to be no more than 24 inches. So you have some room to work with, but do not go crazy extending it beyond that, or you will create a different code violation. This fix works especially well in combination with one of the venting solutions we already covered. Adding a longer tailpiece plus an AAV, for example, gives you a setup that behaves much closer to a properly vented P-trap without ever opening a wall. It is a practical, real-world compromise that I have used many times over 30 years when the drain stubout is in the floor and moving it just is not in the budget. The fifth way to fix an S-trap is to add a Studor vent under the cabinet. Now, if the name Studor, sounds unfamiliar, you have actually already heard about the concept. A Studor vent is simply a brand name air admittance valve, but I am giving it its own spot on this list because it deserves special attention. Studor is the company that essentially pioneered the modern AAV, and their products are specifically engineered and tested to meet code requirements in most jurisdictions across the United States. What makes a Studor vent particularly nice for homeowners is the reliability factor. These are not cheap spring-loaded gadgets that wear out in a year or two. A quality Studor mini vent is rated for something like 500,000 cycles, which translates to decades of normal household use. They install the same way as a generic AAV on a T-fitting after the trap, with the valve positioned vertically above the trap weir. The cost runs a little higher, usually between $12 and $25, depending on the size. But you're paying for a product that inspectors recognize and trust. If you live in an area where your code requires a specific listed and tested air admittance valve, Studor is usually the name that checks every box. I have installed hundreds of these over the years in situations where running a traditional vent pipe up through the roof just was not practical, and the callback rate is practically zero. For a reliable, under-the-cabinet solution that most building departments will approve, this is an excellent choice. The sixth and final way to fix an S-trap is to relocate the drain stub out to the wall. I saved this one for last because it is the most involved, but it is also the most thorough and permanent solution. If your drain currently comes up through the floor, that floor level entry point is the reason your trap forms an S shape in the first place. By moving the drain connection from the floor into the wall at the proper height, you eliminate the S-trap geometry entirely. Your trap naturally becomes a P-trap because it now exits horizontally into the wall instead of diving back down into the floor. The right height for a wall stub out is typically between 16 and 18 inches above the finished floor for a bathroom sink, and around the same range for a kitchen sink, depending on your cabinet configuration. You will need to cut into the wall, tap into the existing drain line, and install a new sanitary T or Y fitting to redirect the pipe. This usually involves working with either 1.5 inch or 2 inch ABS or PVC drain pipe. The materials typically cost between $20 and $60, depending on how much pipe you need and whether you already have basic solvent, cement, and fittings on hand. Now, I will be honest with you. This fix does require a bit more skill and confidence. You are cutting into wall cavities and modifying the drain, waste, and vent system. In some areas, this may require a permit, but if you are comfortable with basic pipe work and you want a solution that is 100% code compliant with zero compromises, this is the way to go. It is also the best option if you're already doing a bathroom or kitchen remodel, because the wall is open anyway. And now for the bonus tip that professional plumbers swear by. Here is something most people never think about. Even after you fix your S-trap using any of the methods we just covered, you should pour water down that drain at least once a week if it is a sink or fixture you do not use regularly. Guest bathroom sinks, utility sinks in the garage, that wet bar in the basement you only use during the holidays. These fixtures are trap siphoning waiting to happen, not because of bad plumbing, but because of evaporation. The water seal in any trap, whether it is a P-trap or a corrected S-trap, will slowly evaporate if water is not flowing through it regularly. In dry climates or during winter when the furnace is running constantly, that evaporation speeds up dramatically. A trap can go dry in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. And once that water seal is gone, sewer gas flows freely into your home. So make it a habit. Walk through your house once a week and run water in every drain for about 15 to 20 seconds. It costs you nothing, takes less than 5 minutes for the whole house, and it is the single easiest way to keep sewer gas where it belongs, which is anywhere but inside your home. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching, and if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next one.